Alright, so for today's episode, right, we are actually jumping back to the COVID tank. But this time around, I'm just going to share with you guys a couple of purchases, a couple of new colors that we actually added into this tank right now. Alright, so for a couple of 1-2 months, right, we have not actually really been updating on the COVID tank. So, firstly, because the couple of things that actually happened to this tank when we first started up 6 months ago till now. So, we did have very bad green hair algae problem with this tank previously. So, it was so bad where the entire rock is covered with green hair algae. So, you guys have seen the previous videos, right? You guys have seen actually the rock is pretty bad. But then we managed to rectify that problem by manually siphoning, cleaning, scrubbing, and most of that now is actually pretty much gone, but then you still see that little small turf algae that is still there, which still takes a while. This tank is pretty new, it's only about 7 months, I think about 7 to 8 months old only. The second thing that happened was, I think about a month or 2 months ago, right, if you guys see the previous video when I shared about this tank, right, where we did the dosing machine, right. So what happened was the dosing itself, right, one day or one fine night, what happened is actually it started to dose all of my no-pox into the tank. So I actually had an issue where one night, right, I actually dosed more than about 200 to 300 ml of no-pox into the tank, which was pretty crazy though. For you guys who have not known what no-pox is, right, no-pox is like a kind of food to feed your beneficial bacteria. And then the beneficial bacteria will help to actually reduce all your phosphate nitrates, so forth and so on. But then, if you have too much food, right, what happens is that you have a bacterial bloom. So, the next couple of days, right, what I did notice in the tank, right, is actually the entire tank clouds up really badly to a point where it was so cloudy that a couple of things happened. Thankfully, I did not lose any of the fishes. All the fishes are still there. Everything went well. I called up Iwana and I told them that I really need water immediately. So they actually pretty fast though. Actually, they came by the next day or so, and then they actually got me like quite a lot of water changed in the tank. But however, even though I didn't lose any of the fishes, right, I did lose a couple of corals here and there. And aside from that, right, the third thing that actually happened, right, was the multi-bar angel. So for those of you guys who know, right, angels are not really that reef safe. So my multi-bar actually started to have a liking for a certain type of corals, which is the acons. Remember, I used to have the couple of acons in front, right? So what happened was he actually started nipping on acons and then a couple of other the LPSs here. So I monitored him for a couple of whiles, and I noticed that he only went after only that few species of corals. So I had no choice but to pull them all out to a separate frag tank right now. So this tank is actually pretty much done with all these things if I want to keep the multi-bar inside. So I went up about a month ago to the forum itself. I actually went up to Reef, SG Reef Club. So I actually did post a couple of posts up there that I'm actually looking for stuff for this tank. So the response was really good though. I believe most of you guys, right, actually did PM me immediately and then been sharing with me a lot of photos, showing me a lot of stuff that, hey, do you want to get this, do you want to get that? And I really appreciate all your gestures out there. You guys have been really good. You guys have actually sold me quite a lot of stuff, trade with me a lot of things, and then it's like I always wanted to I always prefer buying stuff and trading stuff from reefers. Firstly, because I always prefer corals that are being cultured in the reefing community itself, because firstly it's always a lot hardier, and secondly itself, right, most of your reefers tank parameters are pretty much the same, and these guys are being kept in captivity. For some things that I've gotten recently, right, they have actually been kept with a previous reefer for I think for more than 4 years already. So it's pretty darn stable, and when I come over here, right, I can guarantee that it actually survives. So this is the perks of actually getting it from reefers compared to LFS. Cannot say that getting from LFS is no good, but then some things that you cannot find, some things that is new, something that's interesting, right, you still do have to get them for LFS. I still do think that you need to support your LFS as well. And then at the same time, right, you can often get one or two items here and there from your reefers, from neighbors, from stuff like that. So big shout out to all of you guys out there who actually did approach me, did message me, did text me, DM me, right, about all the things that you guys offered me, things that we have traded, so forth and so on. And then it's been about a month since I've been doing all these crazy trades here and there with the fellow reefers and then buying stuff from different LFSs, so forth and so on. So today, right, I'm actually going to show you guys what are the new purchases that we've gotten for this tank. So if let's start with this side of the tank itself. So this is a cube tank. So basically, a good thing about cube tank, right, you can actually get like 3 sides, different view for it. So on this side here, right, what I actually have is like my little small the Euphilia section. So I have the this elegance here that has been with me for very long already, and then I have this little small finger ladder here that is also gotten from a separate reefer. This really nice Lumi frog spawn that is doing really well here. This is by far one of my favorite, and this is something that I always been looking out for. This is it's the bicolor toxic hammer. This is like by far one of my favorites because I like the toxic green and then the purple blend into it, and some of them like they have a mixture of a couple of different colors into it. So this is like by far one of my favorite corals so far. And then right above it, right, you can actually see my huge zinnia garden here. And then over here, I have another toadstool that was actually traded off from another reefer. So I'm still owing the reefer the trade item that I'm supposed to pass in, but then I didn't really have time to go and get the stuff. So I will, if you are watching this video, right, your toadstool is doing really well. Big shout out to you. Thank you for the toadstool. It's opening up really nicely, and I will meet you soon for a couple other stuff. So we have the really nice huge Maxima here. This is like one of the nicest shower piece items that I have, which I really like it a lot. So we move over to the other side, which is this side of the tank itself, right? So this side of the tank itself, right, we actually have the Favia. The Favia over here, this is the if I'm not wrong, this is the Dragon Soul. This is like by far one of my favorite Favias because of the purple and the very nice luminescent green eye. We have the Blastomosa. This guy's been with me for I think for many years already. He's been from the previous 25 gallon to here. I have a Recordia Florida. This is the normal green types. I think it's just a very cheap buy that I bought it from one of the RFSs. I can't remember where I get this from really. Couple of MV frags here. This is a smaller one that I recently just cut. This is the main one over here, which is opening up really well. And then on top of it, right, I have a chalice. This, if I'm not wrong, this is the Mummy Eye. One of my favorites because of the greens and the pinks. Under blue light, it looks good because it fluoresces with the pinks. Under white light, it looks even better with the green and the pinks. And then over here, so this little Goni here, right, hasn't been opened ever since I got it. This guy has been with me for I think for more than 2-3 months already. It has not opened up, but it has not died yet also. No idea why it doesn't want to open, but yeah, it's always been staying like this. Beside it, I have my red Goni, which is one of my favorite. I always love red Gonis. I'm still trying to grow this up to a really nice ball size. Above it, I have another chalice, and then that should be mainly for it. And then I'm still trying to fill up this top area here with stuff. And then at the back, I have another type of a bit more luminescent green star polyp. And as we move on to the third side of the tank, right, which is the side that I rarely see that often, right, I have a couple of very interesting things. I have my Zoas here, and then at the back area here, which is where I usually put all my strooms and then my green star polyps at the back there. So I'm trying to fill this entire area here with strooms, and then after that, right above this section here, right, I'm actually trying to do like a the more of the Zoa garden here, and then right above it, right, if we move up higher, right, this section here probably will be where the other toadstools will be. So I believe that is mainly all for the whole area here that we are still trying to fill up. Alright, so I believe I've come to the end of today's video with all the pre-corals that you guys seen so far. So I will still be adding in corals as and when I can, but it's Christmas down the road, and then yeah, Christmas being a giving season, right? I don't think that I will be receiving much stuff for myself, but then it's time where I need to spend more money on the little one and my wife behind the camera right now. So budget wise, it's a bit tight, so I don't think I'll be getting a lot of very crazy corals during this December period. But then once December is over, right, once Christmas is over, right, probably where I have a bit more cash, I'll probably want to buy a couple more corals to fill up the top area here. But then I'll still give guys a final update on the full studio here once everything is done. We'll just do like a 2020 walkthrough on the whole studio. What have we changed? What have we added? And then I will show you the Red Sea Nano as well, to show you what we have done to that tank. But then same thing, if you guys like all the videos that we put up for you guys, right, hit that subscribe button, like, share it out, and same thing, big thanks to all you reefers out there who actually helped me with all these little coral purchases here and there, telling me which RFS to go to, where to get what stuff here and there. Really big thank you to every single one that I've visited so far for the past couple of months. Same thing, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys soon next week.